Hello, everyone. We are standing at a culmination point. The 1010 portal is here, and the council says the only job that we have now is to rise above the noise that's happening underneath. Hello, and welcome to your weekly council message on the Awakened Flame Network. I'm the Awakened Jinn, a multidimensional channeler, and the oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame. I blend tarot, the Akashic Records, and direct counsel transmissions to help you remember who you are, why you're here, and what's blocking your soul's full embodiment. What I do here isn't just prediction, it's activation. Every message from the council is designed to help you rise into your highest path, embody your sovereignty, and remember who you really are. If you've been searching for clarity and guidance, this isn't just a reading. It's a frequency, and if you're hearing my voice, it means this transmission is meant for you. All right, so welcome in, everyone, and we're going to get started by showing you what I've prepared for us this week. So if you have followed me for any time at all, this is actually something that I did on my channel, The Awakened Jinn, well before I ever started the Spiritual View or the Awakened Flame Network. And so this is just a fun way to look at the energy that is coming for the week. It's just the energy forecast. And so what I've done is I pull cards for each day of the week, and then I just kind of feel into what does that energy feel like for me so that I can create a whole forecast for us for the whole week so that we can get a visual of what this energy is really going to be like. And so for this week, this is a culmination moment. And the energy could not be more powerful. We're moving into the 1010 portal. And if you remember last year, the gateway cracked open massive shifts. This year, it feels like the frequency has built into a peak. And the council is clear. The theme is light. Not because the challenges disappear, but because you've already transcended the lessons. The guidance is to rise above, the guidance is to rise above, hold the higher perspective, and remember who you are now. And so, I mean, we are getting to see everything from this higher level perspective. These things are still happening underneath us, but we understand it now from a vantage point that we didn't have before. And so now then we can kind of see it from this higher level perspective, and we don't have to take on the lessons anymore because the lessons have already been won. Now then we are just kind of letting everything play out. The angel numbers for this week are 222, balance, harmony, and divine alignment. 333, spiritual support, and the ascended masters are walking beside us. 717, breakthroughs, new beginnings, and divine guidance for your path. And then 144, this one has suddenly become very loud again, and it is the call to the 144,000, the light workers, twin flames, star seeds, and grid keepers to rise into mission. Mary Magdalene energy has been really strong with me this week. And so you may have seen the one transmission that I added to the community page, which was about whole plus whole equals holy union. That one right there just blew me away. But I mean, she has been coming out in nearly every single reading I've had this week. So her energy is just very strong right now. And so it's a great time to connect with her. All of these numbers confirm alignment, ascension, and activation. So stay with me as we unpack all of these energies for the week ahead, and then I'll be taking your personal questions and doing live channeling of the council message for you at the end. So just put your questions and a heart in the chat if you would like me to pull messages for you when we get to that point. All right, so before we get too far into this reading, I want us to take 3 deep breaths together and do the invocation to call in the spirit team. So if you'll close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in the council of the Awakened Flame, a collective of angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves, guardian angels, ancestors, and galactic light family to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. I open myself now as a clear surrender channel. Only messages for the highest good that bring healing, alignment, ascension, and love. So be it. All right, so we are going to get into the energy of this week, and we're just going to pull this into bigger focus here. So, like I said, I have pulled energies for um, each day of the week. I pulled 3 different cards. So, we have one message from the council, which is the higher level guidance that we're looking at for each day. One from tarot that is showing us the physical expression, and then one from heart's hidden secrets to reveal the emotional undercurrent that is going on underneath. So let's see how these energies weave together. And as you can see, we've got some really heavy energy this week. And so this looks scarier than it actually is. It tells a story, though, that is leading up to this 1010 portal. And so we have some truth that is being revealed early in this week. And then, of course, we've got on Monday, there is the full moon in Aries that's happening. So there's some release energy with that. But it just continues to build until we get to that 1010 day where it's just like, that is almost like a full life review of everything that you've been to get you to this point, to where on Saturday we are ready to make some surrenders, ready to release some things, even when it feels painful. So we're going to go through this day by day and just kind of look at each of the energies. And so on Sunday, we have the council card was soul truth. What you know is enough. 111 crown, royal purple, fresh start, truth revealed. And so there is some sort of truth that is going to be revealed. It's either you or someone else, but truth must come out at this moment. And the thing is, I'm connecting it with the other cards here. We're afraid that this truth is actually going to cause more distance than what is actually here right now, but this is the thing that actually bridges the distance. It's like this thing is the thing that's sitting between you and what you're actually wanting. And so it's like you can't move forward until this truth is revealed. And that Two of Swords is telling us that this is something we have avoided for a long time. And now then it's time that the clarity comes through. And so this energy definitely feels very heavy, but it's not in a bad way. It's just very apprehensive. So it's just concerned because we don't exactly know what's going to happen once this truth is revealed. So on Monday, which is the full moon in Aries, the council card was the mirror. What you judge, you heal. 23, 23, third eye, silver gray, distortion versus truth. The tarot was the magician. Your magic lies in how you transmute reflection. And the emotional energy is actually that of peace, balance, and harmony, rising above the distortion. And so what I was feeling in this is like we are surrounded by mirrors all around us, but some of these mirrors are not telling the full truth. And so that magician energy is our ability to kind of look at these mirrors around us and see what is actually clear truth about us and what is distorted truth about us. And um and so like that's the magic that we're going to be pulling, is like we're going to see through the distortions. And so that's helping to break some of the clouds because clarity is actually coming through in this energy. So like you're going to be given this opportunity to really see, you know, the truth of people and the truth of yourself in this energy. So on Tuesday, the council card was catalyst, the spark that starts it all. 111 showing up again, sacral orange. And this is an aha moment. So that's what that lightning strike is. That's the aha coming in. The Nine of Wands is the light at the end of the tunnel moment. And the emotional energy was lusting, forbidden, non-committal. It's our desires. Our desires is what is fueling us to keep moving forward. And so there is this aha moment. And it's like, I think that we have to sit in the truth that comes out. And we're going to be sitting in that. And it's just we're finally going to have this moment of realization, recognition of what we really need to do to finally move forward out of a long, long road of cycles that we've been through with that Nine of Wands energy. And so we see it. We see the light. We're not quite there yet, but we do see what we need to do. And so this is the thing that's bringing in the most change in the energy right here, is just that we're seeing like what we're supposed to do with this energy now. On Wednesday, I had a hard time finding an actual image that represented the feeling that I was getting for this day, because this was like an eerie calm before the storm. The council card was soul mission. You came to build something divine, 888, third eye, indigo. And so this is where we are really given the opportunity to anchor in this new timeline. We're making the decision to take that first step. And so the Ace of Pentacles is the seed, and it is the key that is being offered to this new path. And we have to do something with it. Aces are just potential energy around us, and it's what we do with it as to what's going to happen with that energy. And so again, the emotional, it feels like there's not a lot happening, but I think it's because it feels like it doesn't feel as dramatic as what this moment is actually bringing for us. This is a huge shift, and it's like we're not even going to know the shift that this makes until probably well into the future, and we'll look back to this moment and we'll know like this was the moment. And that's why the energy just feels so like surreal. It's just we know that it's a bigger moment than it actually is appearing like it is. It's not going to feel as big as it is, but until you get further into the future of this. So it is the calm before the storm, but it's a very eerie stillness that I was kind of picking up on that day. So on Thursday, we have embodiment. Let the flame live through you. 333, root chakra, golden amber, owning mastery. And so like this is where we are, even though we're scared, even though we don't know the full path, we are taking that step. We are owning our lives, and we're going to do what we need to do to get into full embodiment at this point. So the Four of Cups tells us, again, this doesn't quite show up the way that we think that it's supposed to. It doesn't feel as dramatic as we think that it's supposed to feel. It's just like a subtle shift, but it's not a subtle shift on the energetic realm. It's actually completely setting us apart onto a whole new timeline from here. So the emotional energy is we are clinging, obsession, and holding. And it's really hard for us to let go of the old timeline because we have attachments to it and we don't fully know what's coming in the new one. And so this is just that energy right there. It's like we're choosing again. We're taking the steps, even though we aren't fully confident of where we're headed yet. We know that this is the path, and we know that this is what we have to do. And so we're doing it scared. We're doing it kind of blind, but we know that we have to do this. And so the energy is very heavy. And so I just put like this fog energy because it's just so dense right now, because we know that we have to do this. Even if we don't feel like that we really want to do it, even if there's things that we're having to leave behind that we don't fully want to leave behind, we know that this is the energy that we have to step into. And so then we get to Friday. And that is the 1010 portal. And I mean, it was active. And so with Archangel Jeremiel, review, release, realign. Like I said, this is like a life review moment. And so that's what all of the electricity that you're seeing on this day is. It's just like you're finally going to start understanding like how you got to this point, all the pieces, how everything connected. And it's just like, it's just going to hit you just wave after wave after wave of like, this happened so that this could happen. This happened so that I could get here. This happened so I could do this. And it's just like, you're going to see all the pieces, and you're going to see that it wasn't actually like the random mess that you might have thought it was. It was actually divinely orchestrated to literally line you up to this point. And it's just, it's almost like an awe-inspiring moment. I mean, just, but it's coming in quickly with all of that energy coming in. And so with the Five of Wands, that leaves an inner restlessness. And it's the old patterns are still trying to fight their way through, but we're well too far into the healing and into the embodiment and into the integration of the new to really fall back into the old patterns. And so the emotional energy, there is some regret, and it's likely going to come from the people around you as you're removing yourself from certain places and people. They're going to start seeing things too. We're not the only ones that's having all of these ahas and life reviews. The people around us are also having those too. And so there is going to be recognition of who you were and what you were supposed to do in certain people's lives. And now then they're going to see like, oh, like there's no going back now. There's no fixing this, because like the old door to the old timeline has closed. And it's just like, it just becomes glaringly obvious at this point. And so, I mean, the energy is electric. There's a lot going on, but it's not a bad kind of electric. It's just like this is an affirming kind of electric energy that I'm feeling. And so then we get to Saturday. So Saturday is probably going to be the hardest day out of all of this energy, because this is where we finally surrender and let go, let flame, let God. And so this is just full trust of like whatever we are releasing, we know that this is exactly what we are supposed to be doing. Just to get us into our highest alignment, into our highest vibration. And so the Three of Swords, I mean, it's not going to be easy. There's nothing easy about walking away from things that did mean something to you, that did matter to you at one point. But it's like now that you see the clarity and the truth of they were here for catalysts, they were here for moments, they were here for seasons, but they weren't here for the whole full picture. Like the full picture was meant for you, not for all of the other pieces and parts that were playing in this. So the emotional truth is just the realizations and epiphanies, just there's no going back. This to me is very much breaking out of the matrix kind of moment. That it's like once you see it, there's no way to unsee it. And so you have to act with the information that you now have. And that's the hardest part. It's just like that's probably why we've been in denial and been not acting on this truth to this point. It's because we knew once this truth came out so fully, there was no way to unsee it. And once we see it, we have to do something with it. And that is the hardest part. And so, I mean, it's a heavy day. It's an emotional day. It's release in all forms. And so release isn't just about when you let the person go. Release is the tears that come with that too. The emotions that are going to pour out of you too. So don't guilt yourself for the energy that you're feeling. That's all part of the release that is happening in that energy. So to wrap this up for the week, the overall theme is light. We are rising above because we've transcended all of the lessons. We see things from the higher perspective, and we don't have to keep repeating the old cycles anymore. The big events that we're dealing with this week, we have the Aries full moon on Monday, 10/6, and then the 10/10 portal on Friday. And then we've got this weekly arc of going from soul truth, spending time reflecting on it. That reflection is going to spark us into our mission, put us into embodiment, and where we're going to start seeing how all of this really came together to get us into this full release and surrender. And the emotional arc that we're going through is, yes, it feels scary. Yes, we are a little bit apprehensive, but this is leading, once we speak this truth, that is where the peace really finally comes in. And then our desires start building into this energy. And it's like, we know something's coming. You're feeling it. You know something's coming, but we have to let go of our attachment to the past in order to get through to the new timeline. All right. So that is the energy for the week. And I did have some more questions that we're going to be pulling because we've got, again, that Aries full moon is happening on Monday. So this Aries full moon is a fiery catalyst in catalytic energy. It can spark bold action, but also fiery conflict if we're not grounded. The guidance here is to use the flame for clarity and courage and not for destruction. So I'm going to pull with my deck, the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame, to find out what fire is this full moon igniting within us and what is asking to be released. So what fire is being ignited within us and what is asking to be released in this energy? All right. We have resurrection. The phoenix rises again. Angel number 717, solar plexus, fire orange, the path of transmutation. And so, I mean, we are being asked to choose ourselves, radically choose ourselves, and, pull ourselves out of anything that is not aligned with us anymore. This is our rebirth moment. And yes, in our rebirth, that means that some things are not getting to come with us. And so release it with love. That Aries energy might cause you to release it with a little bit of passion, but let's make sure we've got some love and compassion put into that so that there's no regrets for us later. But this is the time. This is the time to choose yourself radically and to step into your full mission. Okay. We also have the 1010 portal. So the 1010 portal is always a major activation point. Last year was massive. This year it feels like culmination. This is where the cycle's complete and new light pours in. The council wants us to pay attention to how our choices align with light or shadow, and to choose to embody the light deliberately. So again, with the council cards, what completion or initiation is this 1010 portal unlocking, and how can we align with the higher timeline it offers? We have divine feminine, embodied love, living flame, angel number 717. And I want you to get that both of these cards had that same angel number, 717. And I did tell you the angel numbers I was picking up this week, 1717. This falls right in line with that energy. Heart chakra, magenta, sacred contracts. And so this 717 is you getting into your path of your spiritual alignment. You're aligned with your spiritual path. But this divine feminine embodiment, that's what this energy has been about. It has been feminines really standing in their power this year. They're breaking out of the old toxic cycles. They are not in their wounded energy anymore. They've learned the lessons. And so now they are demanding that any masculine energy in their presence meets them at their level now, or they are willing to walk away from it. So, I mean, this is just full divine feminine embodiment. And the feminines have really been the ones in the leading edge of the lessons. They've been the ones working through all the lessons to this point. But this year has been about integration. So last year we had the completion of the lessons. This year, the feminines were embodying the lessons that they had learned. And that is the trigger that is causing all of the masculine energy to have to start looking at their own patterns and start doing their own work, because the feminines have pulled their energy away from the masculines to now then they have to feel it fully on their own of this is what the energy was actually going on. Because to this point, the feminine was the scapegoat. And so the feminine is no longer the scapegoat because she's living her life for herself now. And so now then it's just it's this catalyst action that's happening throughout the field, where the more she becomes embodied, the more it kind of it sets the masculine into a collapse, but it's not a bad type of collapse. This is causing a lot of masculines to go into their dark night of the soul. But we know what happens because we've already walked that path before them. And so it's now then they get to experience what we did, but they've got to go through their own Phoenix rebirth moment too. All right. So how do these two cosmic gateways together, the Aries full moon and the 1010 portal, propel us into the next phase of our soul mission? And we have, we have soul mission. You came to build something divine. Angel number 888, third eye, indigo, and sacred contracts. And so, like I said, 144 has been so loud this week, so loud, especially towards the end of this week. And that is the call for the light workers. That is the call for the 144,000, the twin flames, the star seeds, the grid keepers to really get into mission. It is really important right now that we are all doing our part to anchor this, frequency of unconditional love, that Christed love into the reality right now. And so the only way we can do it is by holding it. And the way that we're holding it is through the repeated triggers of things from the past. When those things are coming up, it's not showing us that we're still stuck in that old energy. It's giving us opportunity to show our alignment, to show our embodiment, to show that we can really handle this energy and sustain it so that we can anchor in the new timeline, the new frequency. And so we are being called into mission right now. And our mission really is holding the frequency. It's holding our frame no matter what's going on around us. And so that's why we're called with that light energy. We're looking at everything from that higher perspective. And so from this perspective, we do understand, what's all happening. When we get down here in the weeds of it, that's when our emotional body gets in it and we start acting out of um, we act out of trauma responses, we act out of habits, we act out of programming. But when we can stay up here in this higher level perspective, we can see it for what's really happening. And that's what you're being called. You're called to anchor the energy, anchor the frequency, and to hold your frame no matter what's going on around you, and to radically choose yourself over and over and over. Okay, so I'm going to pull the blocks and challenges for the week with the tarot, and I'm using the Wild Reflections Tarot for this. So let's see. These are the places where the energy might feel extra heavy or sticky. So let's see what is coming out of our blocks for this week. All right. Our blocks this week, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is about speaking your truth, and it's going back to that truth that I just started the whole week out on. And so it's clear truth, but it's also clear discernment in this. And so the warning with this energy, though, is the way that you deliver this message, because she can be a little bit direct and cold. And so we're not trying to hurt people. Like, that's really important. It's like when you speak whatever truth needs to be spoken, you're doing it in a place of love. You're doing it in a place of integrity. The reason why you're doing this is because you're wanting to make the situation better. And sometimes better means you're not going to be in connection with that person anymore. And that's still okay. But it's like, we've got to make sure that we're coming into this clean, that our intentions are clean, the way that we handle this is clean. And again, careful about being too direct with it, because she can just really cut you with words. And so we want to make sure that we're balancing these words with the love and empathy and compassion for the person that we are expressing them to. The advice and support to overcome. So to counter these blocks, here is the spiritual practice and advice that the council gives us for this week. We have the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is reminding you of all the blessings that you have. Gratitude is going to be your best friend through all of this energy. So every time, like, especially if you're going through a lot of releases, you're going to need to start counting all the things that you still have left, all the good things that you still have in your life. And so you can look and hold these two things, these two truths at the same time, that while, yes, it can hurt while we're having to go through multiple losses and multiple endings, we also are given a lot of blessings and new beginnings at the same time. And so you can be happy for the things that are coming in and have gratitude for the new things that are coming, while still having sadness for the things that are leaving. That's normal, but we're wanting to lean more into the gratitude, because the gratitude, the more that we have the gratitude, it's like what we do with the little when we're what is the way this phrase is coming? Faithful in little, faithful in much. So the more that you show gratitude for what you have right now, the more that you're going to be, poured out and entrusted with later. And so just gratitude is going to be your greatest friend through this. And again, like I said, when you speak these truths, we're not trying to hurt people. We're not trying to destroy people. We are literally trying to make everything better with the truths that we're speaking. Even if it causes separation of connections that meant something to you, know that your integrity is the part that is the piece that is the healing piece in this. Okay. So the next piece, I'm just going to do a direct channeling from the council. So what do we need to remember to fully embody the light and to step into the 1010 portal and the Aries full moon energies this week? And so I'm just going to just pull in and see what comes to me. Let's see. So what do we need to do to work best with the energies of this full moon and the 1010 portal? All right, so I'm getting the beast, and I think that this is interesting because this came out to me in a reading earlier this week, and I love the message that came out with this. So, okay, the beast was considered scary and a monster by all of the townspeople in Beauty and the Beast is where this comes from. The beast was considered a monster by all of the townspeople because they couldn't see him clearly. And he believed these things about himself because this is what everyone said about him. And so it must be true. He was in this space where they could only see him as this big scary monster. But it wasn't until he met someone who could literally see the truth of who he was that he was able to start really seeing the truth of who he is too. And so this is like showing you the power of the connections that are around you and like the reflections, going back to the mirror that we talked about, that not every mirror is showing you a clear reflection of yourself. Some of these mirrors are distorted, and they're not with malice intent. It's just this is the viewpoint that and perspective that this person has at this point. But you've transcended this. And so as long as you're viewing yourself through the wrong mirrors, you will not have a correct view of yourself either. And so this is really a call to pull yourself out of these spaces that cannot see you clearly, because you're going to feel like the beast in those places. You're going to feel like you have no value. You're going to feel like something is wrong with you when you are surrounded by the wrong mirrors. And so when you start getting the right reflection back at you, then that's the thing that like gets you to see yourself clearly again. And that is what restores you to, your highest timeline, your highest path, and your highest happiness. And so just really inspecting the relationships this week, the connections that you're in this week, are they showing you the correct version of yourself, the correct reflection of yourself, or do they make you feel worse about yourself? So that's going to be the measure. It's like, how do the reflections around you make you feel about you? And what is the truth about it? Because sometimes we do need to look at these truths. But in this situation, it's completely distorted mirrors. And so you've got to see yourself clearly so that you can see the mirrors around you clearly too. All right. So that was a very powerful message, again, that had come out in a private session that I had. And I love that it came out again here for this one, because I think that that is really important energy. So we are now going to move over into the Q&A. And so I want to open the space to your questions. And this is my favorite part because the council always brings through such personal, powerful messages. So go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and I will pull cards and channel guidance for as many of you as I can. So I do see that we have a couple of you already here. So let me see. We've got Tony Taylor. You've got, when should we expect the external energy to ground us more completely? Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is going to hang on until February. That is what I'm getting consistently, is like, we are going to be, this testing energy is going to keep happening until we get to February. And so then it's connected with the Saturn and Pisces. And so it's just like, we've got this last little bit of, it's not testing. This is not testing. This is like anchoring. And this is where you are literally proving your alignment. And so that's why, like I've explained, like, you've really got to be able to hold your frame no matter what's happening around you. Healing does not mean that you do not still get triggered. Healing just means that you know how to handle these triggers better. So I do want to pull just some direct energy for you, Tony. So let me see. I'll pull with the council card to pull energy for you. And let's see, what message do we have for Tony right now? We have divine masculine, sacred protector, silent knower, angel number 707, solar plexus, gold, and sacred contracts. I'm also going to pull with heart's hidden secrets, just to get a little bit more clarity on why this is coming in. Oh, we have apology, boundaries, and intuition. All right, so there is a masculine energy that's feeling a lot of remorse around you. So you're probably one of those feminists that have pulled yourself out of some toxic dynamics. You've held your power. You're standing in your own. And now that they're seeing you more clearly than they have ever seen you before, because their life is probably falling apart. But what I'm feeling is with this energy right here, you absolutely need to continue to hold to your boundaries with this, because just because they feel sorry doesn't mean that they've done the work needed to be able to be in alignment with you yet. And so just make sure that you're using your discernment. You've come too far. You've done too much work to allow these old energies to come back into your space without having done their work. So, I mean, that's where you're going to rely heavily on your intuition, your inner knowing, and you're going to hold tight to your boundaries that you have been working on so strongly. This is not the time to let your boundaries fall. This is not the time to be weak. This is the time, like, again, this is where you're being like given the opportunity to show that you have earned this alignment. You can hold this alignment. You can hold this frequency. Okay. So we have Jonna Beck, and thank you for supporting me today. So I'm going to do the same for you. I'm going to pull with the council energy, and then I'm also going to pull just a few with the heart's hidden secret. So let me just refresh this deck. Okay. So what is going on for Jonna right now? Okay. So we have, I'm not kidding, we have divine masculine for you too. So the feminists are really doing the work, and I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, this has not been easy. So let's see what energy is coming out with the heart's hidden secrets for you as well, as to explain why is this masculine energy showing up for you. All right. We have releasing, withdrawn, and hoping. All right. So I feel like that you have had to make a really hard decision to release a certain masculine energy, just because, I mean, I feel like because they had already pulled back so much with this withdrawn energy that you had to make a decision for your own self. And so while you may be hopeful right now, I think you should hold on to the hope. Right now, the best thing you can do is, again, holding to your boundaries, holding to what your own self-worth, your own self-truth. You do not allow people to you don't allow people to just show up halfway. Even if this is the thing that you feel like you want most out of anything, the only way you're going to get what you actually want is by holding to your standards. And so this is really, you're holding your standards in this moment. They haven't shown up correctly, and the only way that you're ever going to get to see that correct energy is if you don't allow the wrong energy. Don't allow them to come in and mistreat you. Don't allow them to play like sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not, because that's kind of what I feel. It's just like you never know when this person is really going to show up for you. And so, I mean, you release them so that you can align with what is actually true for you. All right. Let's see. We've got Misty. Okay. And thank you, Misty, for always being so supportive. So what advice could I give you to stay focused on the day to day? All right, so let's pull the council energy for you. Let me refresh the deck. Okay, so for Misty, what advice to help you stay focused on the day to day? We have alignment. There's no better advice than that about staying focused. And so alignment is the path lights up as you walk. Angel number 444, third eye, lavender blue, embodied light. And so you have angelic help with you on this. And so just staying in alignment and knowing when you're being pulled out of alignment, because that's the biggest thing this energy is really trying to do to us. And so you've done all the work, you've gotten yourself to this place, but now then all of these old patterns, these old lessons are really trying to test your alignment. They're trying to pull you out of alignment. What would the old version of you do? Don't do that. So it's like, what would the healed version of you do? That's the question. It's like when you start feeling yourself getting pulled out of alignment, we've got to start looking at like, what would the healed version of us do in this situation? And so the healed version, the first thing the healed version is going to do, we're going to take a pause. We're going to pull ourselves back and we're going to look at this from that observer perspective and see, does this even need a response at all? Because a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times if people can't rise to meet you where you're at, then they're going to try to any tactic they can to pull you back down to their level. And so the best way is to get you to argue, to get you to defend, to get you to have to stand up for yourself on things that you know that you've already stood your ground on. You've already spoke your piece. You've already spoke your truth. You don't have to keep arguing the same things over and over. Just not every trigger needs a response. Sometimes the best thing is just kind of pulling ourselves back. And because especially if you start feeling yourself kind of being pulled into some old energies that you've really worked hard to get out of. So, I mean, that's your key right there. Okay, so moving forward with Beverly, and thank you so much, Beverly, for the super sticker. So you're starting to put light language out for others to hear. I love that. I would love for you to put a link in the chat or in the comments so that we can see where you're doing this at. And I'm thinking about doing some other things too, wondering if my cadence is good and how I'm proceeding. I'm feeling not to do too much. So I do think that you're right about just kind of focusing on one thing at a time right now, just so that you can get just comfortable in the one before you start adding to anything else. But let's pull from the council cards first for you as to what advice they have for you with this. And I'm going to tell you, because I've just started actually bringing out the light language myself, and it is scary because you don't know what the reaction of others is going to be. But you've got to just trust that, like, if you're being called to this, that there's a reason. There's someone out there who needs what you have. And so definitely keep putting yourself out there. Don't worry about how it shows up, because it's like that's where we kind of stop ourselves when we get too concerned in the details of like, it has to be perfect. You're surrendering yourself. Anytime you do light language, that is a complete surrender. So it is not even your message that you're delivering anymore at that point. You're surrendering it over to the messages that are meant to come through you. And so as long as you keep your intention pure in that, I mean, you don't have to worry about the rest. The right people are going to show up for you just because you've already been called to this purpose and this mission. All right, so with the council, we have Mary Magdalene, sacred sovereignty, sacred sexuality, angel number 144, sacral chakra, crimson, and the council speaks. So again, she has been nonstop this week. And it's just because the 144,000, it is so important. You are absolutely part of that. You've got the Magdalene code within you. And so it's like you are absolutely being called to mission right now. So whatever you feel, that best next step. And so do not overthink this. Just you already feel it. You already know it. So just start with the one thing. Let that start feeling really good and flowing for you. See what happens with that. And then you're going to feel just the natural call to the next thing. That's how the path opens up for you. It's not because you have the full picture all in front of you. It's because I'm listening to the very next call. I'm not waiting. I'm right here in this moment. And so this is the thing that I've been asked to do now. And so what is the next thing I need to do? And just, you're going to keep following that guidance. And that's the thing that's going to keep opening this mission up for you. But you are absolutely being called into mission right now. You heard it. You're stepping into it. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do with it. Like I said, I would absolutely love if you would put your link down in the comments so that we can follow along with what you're doing too. So thank you again so much for being here with me today. All right, so it looks like that is everyone. If there's anybody else that's watching, if you will, I'll give you a few minutes to get any questions or messages in. And just thank you again so much for everybody that has continued to support through the transitions that are happening for all of us right now. It is heavy energy, but it's also exciting energy. And so I just think, like I said, that truth that's coming out, and maybe it's just the truth of yourself is being revealed this week. And that's a big one too. And it's also very scary. That would bring a lot of apprehension too. But it is meant to bring you to that next higher timeline. And so you're highly supported at this time. And I can't wait to hear what we're all going to be doing with this energy. All right. So let's see. Thank you all for being here this week for this council's message, and thank you for sharing your light with this community. Remember, this week is about rising above, embodying light, and stepping into the 1010 portal fully aligned. If this message has resonated with you, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any future transmissions, and check the links below for any upcoming lives, special portal events, and ways to walk with me in this journey. If you'd like to go deeper, you can book a private reading. You can join the wait list for my Oracle deck, the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame, or you can join my newsletter where you can see first what new things are coming on theawakenedgen.com. So other than that, I am sending you guys lots of love and blessings for this week, and I will see you next week. Thank you.